Hello everyone. Today I had planned to make a much better video. I was going to iterate on it. The way I do these videos, I had a topic that came up that I found pretty interesting, and then someone asked me to send them a voice note about it, and I think the voice note turned out to be pretty well structured and coherent, so I was like excited to make something educational today. But yeah, I ended up getting home pretty late and haven't had the time to do that. So I'm doing an experiment now where I speak with a little bit more authority in my voice. I was, I was just talking with a strategic consultant about a purchase or like a sale that I'm doing. And one of the things that I really got from him was like, what would it be like to be the person that you think you have to be to get your goal done, but be that person now? Like, what would I have to be like for me to be a successful YouTuber or educator? And it's like, okay, well, what are the things that I would have to be? I would have to be coherent. I would have to sound kind of like I know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't be hedging every 5 seconds because who would want to listen to that shit? I would also want to be a continuous learner and flexible and open to feedback. And I would also not want to lead people astray. So there would be like an element of like humility combined with the authority, where it's like, hey, everything I'm saying is a hypothesis, it's a conjecture, it's my point of view, and my point of view is continually changing and self-updating, and yet this is the way it is right now. I'm going to own that. I'm going to speak from that. So yeah, let's see if and this is also connecting to a coaching session I had like a year and a half ago with this guy Joe Hudson. I got picked for rapid coaching, and the thing that ultimately he led me to was how to access my inner truth. And like, there's this place within me that knows the answer, and it's like a place deeper than hedging. It's a place deeper than narcissism. It's a place deeper than just like I'm a know-it-all. There's like a part within me that has a really clear perception of how things are and ought to be. And so I've been tapping into that. Like, it's weird how a coaching session from a fucking year ago, a year and a half ago, can still be integrating and affecting me literally that long into the future. So that's a pretty fascinating thing. I am currently noticing that there's an interest in how to access a flow state and how to drop into a flow and how that relates to the nervous system being regulated versus not regulated. And I will say that one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had around that, as somebody who has a history of going into fight, flight, or freeze, but particularly freeze, I would say that what's really important about it is it's not about the specific actions you're taking. It's not about the breathing exercise you're doing. It's not about looking around your room or whatever to get yourself in the present moment. It's not about meditating. It's about having a gentleness about you, because what you will notice happening when you just focus on the action is you will get re-regulated. You will get regulated for, a little teeny tiny bit, and you won't even get that regulated, and then you go right back to being frozen, and people have a problem like, man, I'm constantly frozen no matter what I do. It's like, it feels impossible. And what I notice is the reason that happens is that you're approaching the frozenness with a mindset, with an attitude of like, it's wrong, it's bad. And you're literally, in that case, you're telling yourself that you're bad. And that causes a lot of stress in the system when you are telling yourself you're bad. And so you have to do breathing things so that way you can get regulated and then you can be good. Or maybe panicking like, oh my gosh, if I don't do this breathing thing, if I don't get out of this freeze, then the whole day is going to be fucked. Well, then you have this mindset that's very aggressive to your current state of existence, and that causes even more stress. So that is, I think, explanatory of why I've done, in my experience, I've had so many experiences where I try to regulate my nervous system and it fucking doesn't work because, and the reason it doesn't work is because like I will regulate and then instantly I'm re-triggered. And what actually really moves that pattern, in my experience, is having gentleness. And I judge gentleness for some reason. Um, there's a part of me that judges it. Being I dislike, there's something about like the soft language, like, oh my gosh, I need to be so gentle with myself. And I think that it's actually very valid and powerful to be gentle with yourself, but you have to know really what it is I'm talking about. Because the gentleness is really a warmth that you have towards yourself, and it's also a receptivity towards your current state. And it's like, it's this very clear, active and generative stance you can have towards yourself. That's really gets in the most contact with the way things already are moving. And so then it leads you to following and listening to the river versus trying to fucking slam the rudder and completely ignore the way the river is moving. It's much less efficient to do that than it is to listen to the river. And so having gentleness, and not only gentleness, but wonder, those two things, they take away a lot of the control mechanism that leads to stress. And not only that, they create more understanding in the system too. And when the system is more understood, that obviously feels good, but it also helps you in the future to titrate your current level of activation because you're seeing what's actually causing what to happen. And then I think the third thing is that gentleness and wonder create presence, and that presence prevents you from getting caught up in the future or the past. Which the thing about the human mind is that we can completely fuck our nervous system by imagining something, because the way it works is like your brain receives input from the environment, and that input gets converted into an interpretation of what's happening, and that interpretation triggers your emotions. But humans have the ability to imagine things. We can imagine something stressful, and then that stressful thing that's not happening in the moment can trigger an emotion, and then that emotion triggers more representations of fear that create more of the emotion. So what I'm saying is, like, getting present, the reason that works is it short circuits that whole process, so that eventually you say, like, oh wait, there's actually nothing to be afraid of right now. And then you stop re-triggering the fear. So wonder and gentleness causes that to happen. And I think the final thing I will say on it is that gentleness and wonder are motivating. They're very motivating states, and they lead you to find certain paths of action more available. And also, there's like a thing where our motivational system is in large part influenced by the way we perceive the probability of success in things. And one way to increase your perceived probability of success is to have wonder about it, because then you're seeing more possibilities for how things can work. So basically what I'm saying is the gentleness and the wonder puts you in a more active stance with respect to reality, which provides another vector for getting you out of the freeze, because freeze isn't just overactivation of your stress response. It also is overactivation of your rest response too. And so you don't just want to upregulate or downregulate. You want to have a path up into like a homeostatic dance between the two sides of the nervous system, which is heart rate variability. And so what I notice is that one of the pathways to getting there is by feeling into your motivation in each moment and having that lead you to get activated again, but in like a playful way. And that puts your system into more balance. So those are some of the ways that I see wonder and gentleness leading to a much more regulated nervous system. All right, that's all I'm going to talk about.